Want to show you guys the overall standings of the league right now. We have Arel with the craziest step in Trackmania Grand League history, getting 400 points in the first step alone. We have Granadi with 216, Afi got 144, and Mudan Carl Jr. tied for 4th, 128. And you have Banks, Papu, and Pack in the top 8. Right now, we are looking for a comeback from Tween and Scrappy, who started off the first step a bit weaker than the rest. Also, we hope to see probably Pack and Papu get a multiplier, because they had a lot of points in the first step, but then they didn't get a multiplier on the last map. Bren as well. Great step, but no multiplier for him. We'll see how things shake up though, as we never really know what can happen with this format. But about 15 seconds left until we start, so time to get some hype in the chat here. Root for your players using the Trackmania Grand League extension on Twitch. Hopefully it works. That's how you see the scoreboards here on the screen. The hearts on the scoreboard is how many viewers are rooting for them with the plugin. But here we go. First map is on, and we are on board with Kappa right now. Through the first jump. This track, Eurosky, it was first played in 2018. And it's making a return for this Grand League season. And a fun fact I like to bring up is that Kappa here won Trackmania Grand League in 2018 when this track was played. He was the winner of the entire tournament. Now playing again, probably a trip down memory lane, but he is one of the fastest players on it. And we see Pack off to a great start through the NASCAR section. Here there's two competing lines. Some players go out to the left, some players just stick middle. And then we have the slalom where here you have to try to jump as low as you can. Where you will do that if you go faster in the previous section and keep the reactor booster. This is the main obstacle part, the downhill slalom past the holes. Very tricky to do well without crashing. And already we see the first mistakes come out. It's Mossa and Arel down in 15th and 16th. Only small mistakes here though. 1 second loss across a long race will not be that significant. But the French have clearly gotten off to a wonderful start here. Bren, Papu, Gwen, and Binks, top 4. Make that 5 if you count Worker as well now. It's domination on the track in the first lap. We spoke of Papu's pace here. Papu with the world record, a 7:08.3 right now. Last week they won with a time of 7:12. Small mistake there from Worker, dropping down as Afi will climb using that opportunity he was given. Here you can see the reactor booster. The more speed you keep here, the lower you will jump, because you keep the reactor booster in the air. So Bren there had a terrible jump, must not have gotten a lot of speed. But one very positive side we're seeing is Gwen here, up in second, doing really well right now. In the first step, it was later revealed, you could say, that Gwen had only played with 1 or 2 hours of practice. He hadn't practiced the maps at all, basically. And he still got 30 points. But now he's looking sharp. He's actually looking very sharp, very refined. This young man has practiced and done his homework. He is keeping up with Papu on this map, and he's the only player able to do so. Look at the differences building up here. Checkpoint by checkpoint, these two are just a little bit faster in each corner. And it already seems like it's gonna be them that will fight for 25 points for winning this map. See some big mistakes there. Spam 7 seconds behind 8th place. Lost a lot of time there with a mistake where many have dropped down. Now Gwen overtaking first. Ahead of Papu. Papu with a great jump. He will stay level. And these two are now 2 seconds ahead of the rest. Really, really showing how much you can gain just by being a little bit faster in each corner. Halfway through the lap, they were 1.5 seconds ahead. Now they're 2.5 seconds ahead. And the others haven't really made mistakes. It's just they're whittling away, checkpoint by checkpoint. Following now the perspective of Pack in fourth. As it is a French top 3, he is the first non-French player. Very close though to maybe catching Bren. And then there's a huge field here of Worker, Carl Jr. and Scrappy. Still in the top 8. I want to say the reason the scoreboard here is split into top 8 and bottom 8 is that there's a huge point difference from getting top 8 and getting 9th. If you get 8th place, like Renati is now, you get 15 points. If you get 9th, like Tween, 500s behind, you get 5 points. So top 8 is heavily rewarded in this format. So that's why there's this green-red split there. You really want to be top 8 on every map to build up a good point score. Small mistake here by Gwen, allowing Papu to build up a 1.5 second lead. 2 second lead, actually. Papu is gone. Papu is more than gone here, and he's driving fast as well, so... Second place, not a bad score though, if you can hold that. The Pack has almost caught up to Bren in third. Very close to making that overtake. Against Bren. These two players used to be teammates back in 2016-17. Team Dignitas, Team Expert. Now they are opponents. Every man for himself in this format. And it's about your individual performance to win. Gotta beat out everyone else. And Pack here with better NASCAR lines, getting closer. Might look for an overtake around this corner here, but Bren holds really strong there. They are actually gaining on Papu up in first right now. So they are driving fast as well. Not holding back at all. Pack gonna have a lot of speed here. Was that a respawn, or was that just a small visual error we saw? See Scrappy dropping down, Worker dropping down on the scoreboard. Could be him that had to press the respawn button. Let's see up front now as Papu enters the last lap. He is actually on an incredible pace here. Papu with that split could potentially get close to his own world record. Papu's own world record in a 6-lap format is a 7:08.3. And there's a reason that nobody can keep up. He's actually very close to that. Right around a 7:09 pace. So, great stuff from Papu here in the live round. Looking at the other positions, we see a very close fight for that 8th place between Worker and Uffy. Mudda might be in contention for it as well. And then this very close fight for 3rd. They've been so close the entire way. Bren and Pack. But let's see Papu through the most decisive part. This slalom is so difficult to do at high speed, to keep the reactor booster, to fly right here and land with speed. Papu does that well. He's gonna get close to the world record of his own. And I want to see now this fight for the 8th place. Currently, it is not that close. There needs to be a mistake from any of the top 8 players. Papu will cross the finish line now with a 7:09. Great time. Gwen in 2nd. Pack gets 3rd. Brennan 4th. Carl Jr. 5th. Grenati 6th. Uffy snipes 7th from Tween. But Tween gets 8th and will be happy with that. And now the remaining players come in with 5 to 1 points. They did not get it to work here that well. And we do see a DNF from Massa. Massa did not finish the race and will get 0 points. So let's take a look at the step rankings. Papu in 1st, Gwen 2nd, with 25 and 24 points each. Let's go on to have a look at the 2nd map here. Coming up is Barrelistic, built by Popuet. This map is, or was it built by Bonanno? Maybe I'm saying the wrong name here. I think it is a Bonanno map. This map is different from all the others in that it is very trick heavy. Wicked, some would say. You see a lot of loop flips, quarter pipe jump into wall ride, plastic bounce. This map has everything, and it is a lot about consistency. But last week when we saw this map in the 1st step, the world record was a 6:44 by Mudda. Now the world record is a 6:40.5 by Mudda. So 3.5 seconds of pace have been saved by the players. and many have gotten their personal best down to like 642, 643. That's the range we're playing at. So the level has gotten higher, but it looks like we have an extended warm-up here to get every player ready on the server. So that is great to see. You have a little bit of time here to activate the Trackmania Grand League extension. Looks like it's not active, and we need it active after this map, so gonna quickly have a look at that if I can, while we watch the players get ready. Let's take a look at Mura, the current world record holder, see how he handles Barrelistic. Alright, so the Trackmania Grand League extension should be enabled now. Maybe we refresh the stream, and it should be on. Because then you can use that extension to cheer for the player you're rooting for. Click their name, and the most clicked players gets a heart on the scoreboard. So that is how it works. Massa internet problems. Oh, that is a shame. That's a shame to see. Typing it will not work. Typing Go will not work. You have to use the extension. They made this extension so that the chats would not be flooded with Go this, Go that. That doesn't mean you can't type it though. I mean, feel free to root for whoever you want. But look at the warm-up here, like, Mura is driving this mesmerizingly clean. This is incredibly satisfying to watch. Very consistent, but also very refined racing lines. Do they race the same tracks every week? It actually varies. There's one new track per week, and one map is removed from the map pool per week. So most will be the same, but one new track each week. Also have a look at perhaps Gwen, who did really well. Oh, sorry to interrupt. Who did really well in the first map, but looks like he had some problems there in the warm-up. Quickly alt-tab here. Give me a second. Oh, never mind. It looks like we're going live on map number 2. Barrelistic, we are on. 16 players starting. Here, each trick is so important. The most important thing is that you do not respawn. So did we get all players? Oh, a big respawn from Kappa in the very first trick, and that basically puts you out of the fight already. 6-7 seconds behind in the opening stages. So basically just gonna have to wait that one out now. I mean, he will drive, maybe he can catch up if others make a mistake. But that is how it is. It's very unforgiving in this format, and these tracks are very difficult to drive. Players like Mura make this track look easy. I've played it myself, and I can tell you, it is anything but easy. It's very difficult. So here we see a multitude of lines. Watch this. Some players are going to go for the booster here to get more speed, while others are just going to go for the jump. Now the booster line, according to the pro players, is not faster. It's more consistent, but it's not faster. It loses a little bit of time. So Arel lost about 0.3 with that line, maybe. But he will be in the race, in contention for winning this one, as we see a 1:08 opener by Mura. He's going very fast up front, but Afi and Papu are really able to follow him on this. Grenadi as well, this is a huge map for him. Very consistent at these tricks, and also really good at this full speed dirt grass style. He's won endless Cup of the Days on this exact type of track, so this is something that he enjoys and really also excels at. And then we see Pack and Papu strong as ever. Pack started this step really strong with 20 points. Did not get a multiplier last time, but if he can keep stacking and get one, that would be really good for him. Watch the Grenade line here. This is the second line players do. They try to get... Oh, Grenade has changed his line, actually, from last week. Different approach here. Usually, Grenade would try to jump further, but now he is doing Mura's line, which is to land really early, go around the pole, and build speed. And he made that work well. Oh, low jump here, though. All three side by side, Mura, Pack, and Grenade. What a race we have for first right now between the two favorites from last week, Mura and Grenade, and Pack joining the battle. With Pack clips the quarter pipe just a little bit before the full speed section, and he will just lose time all the way up until the next sharp turn. And let me tell you, that is not coming until here. So he lost 2 seconds with that one tiny mistake. Went from 2nd place down to 6th. Great performance here for Tween. 15 points on the first map. Up here in top 8 once again. Goes for the Mura line, landing early and then excelling with speed. Mura has made a small mistake too. He was on par with Grenade, but now 1.5 seconds behind. What a flip that is, though, to gain it back. Gaining at least a little bit. 100th only. Grenade's driving very fast up front. A new best lap at that. 106.95. But Spam will immediately take that fastest lap. 106.7. Which is almost the fastest we've seen today. We saw 106.70, I think, by Mime in the Challenger League. But it is still Grenade in first, Offie second. Oh, Mura clipping in third. Will not hold that spot on the next checkpoint. What's the split gonna be? 7th, but that's just gonna bleed and bleed. And he might drop even further here. Tween up to 3rd, and Binks with only 1 point from the first map in 4th. It's really looking like a great season for the rookies, isn't it? Grenade in first right now in his first season. Binks in 4th, also in his first season. And both of these did really well in step 1 last weekend. Nice speed here from Binks to take 3rd even. Oh, almost a little shaky on that one. But makes it work. Far flip here. Good speed regardless. And he will be joined by Pack into lap number 5 now. Grenade has been driving so clean up front. Has built up this 1.7 second lead that he can work with. Looks to be a map win for him. As we see now, a very close battle for 8th between a lot of players. Gwen is on the tail of this. Arel is here fighting for this. But right now, I think it's Spam that still holds it. Yeah, there's a small gap between Spam in 8th and the bottom 8 players. Carl Jr. as well. Notable mistake. 10 seconds behind. Actually, 15 in total behind. So now the tension kicks up. 2 laps to go. They've done so many successful flips here. But can they get the last ones? We saw some heartbreak here in step 1. Spam, for example, failing the last flip. Mura failing the last flip as well. It can happen. Will they hold it together? Very low line from both Binks and Pack here as Grenade is starting his final lap now. 2.5 seconds in front. Really looking poised to get 25 points here. Can't afford to take it. Extremely safe. As safe as you can on a map like this. But the battle for that second place is anything but over. Binks less than a second behind, and Bren and Pack are close as well. Only 1.5 seconds behind. As Mura, despite his mistake, has also made his way back into the top 8. Great effort by him to get into the green positions where you want to be every single map to get the most amount of points. But it looks like Grenade has this under control. Win tag on the car, and when he could, if he gets these last wall ride flips, that's going to be 25 points. But it's not over yet. It's never over until the car crosses the finish line and you hear the crowd cheer. One more flip to go for Grenade, and he will get it. 25 points. Congratulations, Offie in second here. Looks to hold it. Close fight for third, though. Will it be Bran or will it be Pack? It will be Pack by about a car length. Binks gets 5th, Papu 6th, Mudda in 7th, and Spam gets the valuable 8th place there. 17 points. Very important to get those. Arel in the sour 9th place. Gwen 10th. Tween, Scrappy, Mossa, Carl finishing, and Worker will also manage to finish. Kappa rolling in now in 16th. Very unfortunate with that first mistake that basically just makes you have to wait one map to try again, because losing 7 seconds there is not enough to get top 8. But an exciting second map, and we see Papu and Grenade tied for first in the standings. Pack is third, Bran 4th, and Uffy 5th. As we're going on to a change of pace, quite literally. This map, let's actually do the cinematic instead. On the Edge, built by Papuette, is a raw pace map. This one is not about the tricks anymore. This one is about tech. It's about raw driving skill. It's about how much you dare to push each corner. And we know players like Mossa, players like Carl Jr., like Pack, like Gwen, are really gonna excel on this map. So that is something to look forward to coming up right after Clash time. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to play Twitch Plays Trackmania. We are controlling the car of Tween. And you can see the chat commands here. It starts in 15 seconds. This is just a small break match to let you guys have fun. Type ++ in chat to accelerate. -- to brake. Left, right to turn left and right. Got it? Great. Here we go. Let's take a look at Tween. This is our car. You want to go left here. Left, chat. We want to go left. Oh, no. We're heading toward the wall. That is not ideal, but it's okay. We can save it. Oh, no. We're going. Oh, we are like... What do you call it? The animal that jumped off the cliff. Yeah, that's us. Maybe a good save here. Oh no. Lemmings. On repeat here. They go again over the edge. Good respawn here. Let's try again. So only a bit left. We need people to correct it to the right. Keep in mind the delay here. You guys have some delay. You gotta turn right now. You gotta see the car in the future. Think ahead in time. Good lines. We need some lefts here and then some rights. Lefts, then rights. Oh, that's great. We're about to overtake Bran. Oh, no. Okay, that's fine. Right. Full right. Okay, no. Not anymore. Not anymore. Oh, God. Oh, no. We're heading for the abyss. No, this is good. Full right. Full right. Oh, we save it. We save it. Let's go. That is great. We're going to overtake some players. And now just hold left. Let's do the wall hug here. Maybe that's easier. To just hug the wall all the way. Or we could go right. We could go right if you time it. If you time it. If you time it. Oh, no. We are going into the wall. Tough turn here. I do not think we can save this. Ah, maybe. It is difficult. Yeah, I think we want to respawn this. Do you think we want to respawn this? Mods, pull the lever. Let's do an RS here. Try again. Do you think we want to steer left to hug the wall? Could be a good strategy. Left to hug the wall could be good. That's nice. That's nice. We get the lap. Oh my god, Mudda's car is stuck. We're going to overtake. 8th place. All right, top 8. Good stuff. Steer to the right. Steer to the right. Right. We got to go right to get into the finish here. Or the checkpoint. Nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yes, that's great. Nice. 5th. Top 5. Okay. Okay, left. Right. Oh, you guys are so clean. Oh, good save. top 4? Okay, full right. Everybody full right. Full right, full right, full right. Full right, full right. Only right. Nice. Let's go. And now, full left. And now full left. Hug the left wall. Hug the left wall. Trust. Use the wall to your advantage. Oh god, we're gonna crash. Oh god, we're gonna crash. Emergency. No. Respawn. 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 It's over. Oh, we're getting overtaken. Okay, that's good. Can we cross the finish line again? Nice. Nice, nice. Alright, let's go. 6th place. Not bad. The teams that won are actually just pressed forward, which is a bit ironic, but out of the human players, we got 4th. Great job, everybody. Applause in the chat. You guys did well. Top 6, top 4 if you don't count the press forward. Well done. I'm proud. I'm proud of you guys. Back to the casting. Here we go. So on the edge is the next map incoming. Let's again have a look at the presentation. By Papouette here. Very, very technical, precise track. A lot of drifts. You can decide how much you want to risk here and how much you want to stay on the safe side. The more you risk, the faster you go. And here, pace will decide the rounds almost undoubtedly, because these players are also good that mistakes here will happen, but only a few. For the majority, this will be trying not to crash and just playing your own race. Let's take a look at the warm-up here. The track goes through a high-speed section in the start, and then you have this hairpin turn, beautiful turn, where you can really build speed into another full-speed part. Scrappy hitting the wall there in the warm-up. And then they do this small dirt tilt there to reduce airtime. Land as early as possible. Get grip on the surface. Now left drift, right drift. Maintain speed, and then a very sharp slide here for the reactor booster before the dirt. They barely get a gear up here, and they want to try to stay in that gear through the dirt turn. So Tween there got that gear really well, and it's actually leading the warm-up. And then every track has an identity, an obstacle part. On the edge here, this is the obstacle part. These 3 holes here that you have to drive past just barely in a space about as wide as your car. It is not at all easy, and they do this 3 times per lap, 18 times in a 6-lap format, and they have to do it without fail to win. But we are looking at the best 16 Trackmania players in the world right now, and they are gonna almost make it look easy, look effortless. They know how to play this game so well. Some players have been playing this game for over 10 years at this point. Some veteran players like Spam, who was the world champion in 2012. And you also have players like Carl Jr. with 4 world championships under his belt, who just recently won in the summer ahead of Pac 2016 world champion. They've all been in the scene for a long time. But then there are some exceptions as well. Some players that have risen up just recently in the past few years. Players like Binks, players like Gwen are kind of new here on the top stage. Brunati as well has had an amazing climb over the past few years to get to the top stage. And now he's currently leading the step together with Papu with 3 maps to go. Let's see how this all unfolds on the edge. All eyes on Mossa here, I think, because Mossa had a really rough start in the first 2 maps, only 2 points. But last week he did well on this map. Now, it's a shame that he has these internet problems, that's what we're seeing right now. But hopefully he will be able to perform regardless of that and get a good result. It's not actually that laggy on his screen, it is only what we're seeing that is laggy. The game is running more smoothly for him. We're going towards the first identity. Let's see if they can handle it here and get past without crashing. Oh, 2 players go into the wall in the first identity. Who was that? Scrappy and actually Grenadi dropping down forced to take the safer path. Pack and Mutta as well. 4 players down in the water after lap number 1. That is still only 1 mistake though. If they can drive clean for the rest, they will gain some positions, probably. Massa in first. Bren close to follow, and we're watching Carl Jr., the current world record holder on this map. 6:59 is the target time. As we saw Gwen, I think, right into the wall, right down into the red positions, 10th right now, with a small touch. Last week, the winning pace was around 7:03 by Gwen, and we can see them get close to that again. Just need to keep your fingers crossed for this part. Just look how close it is on each edge here. They are just fighting for pixels, and they're all almost getting past it. Some mistakes once again, but I could not do this on command twice in a row. They're gonna do it 6 times in a row to win this map, and that's fantastic to watch. We are spectating some really high-level Trackmania right now. Also looking at Kappa here. Rough start to this step. Did well in the last one. Just a shame he didn't get the multiplier, but he needs to get some points to multiply to have a say in this one. A top 8 would be very important for him here, because some players have almost gotten no points at all. Aurel as well, the current leader of the league, with 7 points in the step after getting 400 overall in the previous one. Massa though still in the lead. This is a map he really likes. Carl Jr. as well up there. They are the 2 fastest players on the rankings. Now past the holes again. Effortless by top 4. Massa with a new fastest lap. And he's built up a 0.3 lead against the others, which is quite a big margin on this map, because it's only pace. You can't really gain this with some weird trick. It's just better drifts everywhere that's given him this lead. Now it's up to the others to try to not let him get too far away if they want to win the map themselves. Carl Jr. and Bren side by side. Binks just a little behind that again. And then Papu and Uffy have been very consistent so far. Not up in first, but just securing these top 8 spots. Oh, that's a big mistake by Bren. Will it push him out of the top 8? Gwen is there to snipe it. If he does, Gwen would love to get this top 8 himself. Just a car length away from it now. Oh, and the no slide will actually get him there. Temporarily, let's see the identity. Are they gonna hold strong? Are they gonna avoid mistakes? Past the holes for the 4th time. Top 8 have gotten clean so far, top 9 even. And then there's a huge gap down to Pack in 10th, who's out of the top 8 right now. But let's take a look at this battle. It's a shame Massa is lagging here, because this is a great race to watch. Massa versus Carl Jr., 2 of the fastest players on pace, in top 2 on the pace map. But what a performance by Massa regardless so far. To come back from having a disconnect in the match to go straight up into first for 5 laps already. 2 more to go. Getting chased down by the 4-time world champion, the defending Trackmania Grand League champion, is right on his heels here before we enter the last lap. Can Massa do this again? He has 4 for 4 right now, the 5th time. Will be clean for him again, and Carl Jr. follows. But then there's been many mistakes. Papu is now 3rd. And then there's a really close race around 1.7 seconds behind. This could really flip any way for that 8th place. Papu, despite an early mistake, is actually top 3, so really consistent while driving by him. But Massa is extending this lead right now. We see the splits is 0.5 between Massa and Carl. 0.6 now. Will it be 25 points? Or make that 27 with the fastest lap for Massa and for Berlin International Gaming? Or will Carl Jr. somehow snipe this away from him in the final turns? He's getting a little bit closer, but I don't think Carl would mind a second place. And with that jump, Massa's going to extend far ahead here. Maybe even Papu could have a save for second. Let's follow the last identity part now. Massa still in first, 2 turns to go. 1 turn to go for Massa, and he has successfully done it with a 7:01, a great winning time. Carl in second, Papu gets third, Kappa in fourth, Bren fifth, Binks in sixth, Afi seventh, Arrel in eighth, and Gwen missing the 8th place now by 0.4 of a second. Grenadi in 10th after that first lap mistake, Mudda 11th, Worker 12th, Scrappy 13th, Spam 14th, Pack made a huge mistake down into 15th, and Tween in 16th. Okay, let's see how the settings look. It should be Papu in first. 62 points for Papu, 56 for Bran, 54 for Afi, and then 46 for Grenadi. 4th map out of 5 coming up. It is Pole Party. Last weekend, this track was the decider. The multiplier round where they played 2 laps. Now it's back, but they play 6 laps. They have to navigate between the poles here, slalom, weave through, without crashing for 6 laps. We saw this in the Challenger League, and it was amazing to watch. Really close, really high-level racing. And I can only imagine what it's like now in the Grand League itself with the top 16. We've seen pace here from players of 641, 642, down to 644. They all have personal bests around 2 seconds between each other for 6 full laps. And you can see that this map here, it's a lot about driving smooth, long turns, really. You want to build speed in most turns here. So wide setup for this drift, for example, because there's a long straight with the slalom. Weave between, Uffy first, we saw him do really well here last week. Then wide turn here on the grass, followed by a wide turn here on the dirt, because there's a long full speed part after. If you can build up a little bit more speed in each part, this is how you will snowball a lead on Pole Party. And then, of course, you have to have a calm manner when you drive this last part. This is the most precise section, I think, in the entire map pack. Watch how close it's going to be as they go between the poles after this turn here. They really just have to make sure the pixels are on their side as they get through this concrete jungle into the second lap. And guess what? They do that 5 more times afterwards. 6 laps in a row. It's going to be amazing to watch. Let's just enjoy this one while it lasts. Here we go. Map 4, Pole Party. Papu with another great step. Bran with another great step. They got these points last week too. Offigren. Oh no! Tween with a lower gear. Instant respawn. They got these points last week as well, I was about to say. But that hurts to see. Was there more? No, only actually Worker and Tween fell victim to that first jump. Out of the race for now. Grenadi dropping down as well. Big respawn. Aye, aye, aye. Grenadi's not going to get a lot more points here before the multiplier round. But we saw many of the players with the most points right now were the top players last week too. Scrappy and Tween, for example, not a lot of points. Worker has had a bit of an unfortunate step as well. It happens. But now they have to make the most of the last 2 tracks here. Offie and Carl Jr. side by side for this first lap. We know Offie to be just one of the fastest here. He had 4 or 5 rounds where he could have won last weekend. Carl Jr. right next to him though. Gwen as well. Oh my god, what a close line. And we see Scrappy up there with a lot of speed. Challenging here on map 4. Only 200ths behind Carl Jr. Scrappy had great pace here. He did win a multiplier for 2 laps last time. Now he could get a lot of points for it. First time we've seen a lot of action from him. So let's see how he holds up here. Smooth line down the grass. Now the wide setup into the drift here to build speed for the pole section. Will have a tiny bit more speed than Uffy, but has to make the slalom. And he does. To just barely overtake first. But it's way too close to call right now. Uffy will have more speed out of the dirt. Great line there to send him a little bit further ahead. Gwen will also join this battle. Looking at the splits though, we've really lost Aurel, we've really lost Grenadi, and Papu as well has made a big mistake. Some of the best point leaders right now, so big opportunities if you're midfield to get up there. And a great opportunity here for Scrappy to get some points. Tied top 3 there. Gwen, Bran, Uffy. Basically even. A 2:37.8 is the pace after 2 laps. And that means they are driving almost as fast as on 2 laps. They are really pushing it as much as they can here. Not holding back at all. Gwen has had a wall touch here. He was 3rd. Now he's down in 7th. And it will be good for Pac and Carl Jr. there. But look at this. I mean, they're all within 1 second here. And they're not even halfway through the race. Super close round right now. And the tiniest of differences. Like, Uffy gets always more speed on this line. And that's something that he has over the others. He always gains in the dirt. This is where he can build a lead. But then the others gain it back in the end of the lap and in the start of the next lap. So it really oscillates. Scrappy had a wall touch, 1.8 seconds behind. Still stays in the top 8, which is very important for Scrappy. Will be good points. Oh, Uffy almost inside of the wall there. Very close to the pillar. But imagine how stressful this must be to race. 4 laps done, and you look at the splits. You think you're driving the race of your life, and the others are 0.2 of a second behind you. They're not even shaken by your pace. They're following you very, very close. So we have almost a repeat here of the World Cup finals. Pac, Carl Jr., and Uffy. Only missing Kappa from this top 3 battle right now. But it is Uffy who got 4th in that finals. Who's now beating the heavyweights, Pac and Carl Jr. Up in 1st. And once again, look at that speed. Uffy snowballs just a little bit more in this section. Every single time. And you can see that it stacks lap after lap. It's now 0.3, 0.4. He's making a small breakaway as much as you can on pole party. You can't really gain that much. Really close fight here. Brandon with a bit of an awkward line has to release. Let's the other 2 players extend a little bit. Uffy's still up there. And Carl and Pac will go side by side into lap number 5. Yes, we're right around again. The ring around the rosy. Still though, same difference. But what a race this has been for Uffy. Could go into the lead with these points on the final map. Uffy, if he holds against Carl Jr. New best lap by Tween. Bit of a band-aid on last place there. Can get 2 points for that. But Uffy's just extending here. Uffy's really onto something. Half a second now. Incredible from the Swiss player. Does he get the speed again? I think he does. I think Uffy has the advantage. Oh, or does he? Carl Jr. is getting a tiny bit closer now. He's the one who's been able to follow closest all the way. But this has been a completely flawless race from Uffy for 5 laps. Needs to do it for 1 final round, but Carl Jr. risks in the tack section, and oh, there he goes up into 1st. Will he be able to control the line? Carl Jr. just pixels away from the pillar. but with that speed, he jumps up into first. And Carl Jr. is looking for this one himself. Will Offie now try to challenge in the last lap? It is only a bit more than a car length. Pack will join it. They're so close. It is between these three as Bren has made a mistake. Small differences here. We know Offie has the dirt line where he can come back. He just needs to keep up with the others until then. And right now he's doing just that. Very close to the edge of the hole there, but he has done that task now. Can he get the dirt line that he got in the other laps to get the lead? He sets up wide. Will it be more speed though? I don't think it will make the decisive difference here. It's Pack in first, just ahead of Carl, but Offie is creeping into the frame here, little by little. Only 0.12 though. Carl Jr. hits the wall on the inside. He's out of it. It's Pack versus Offie in the final section. Pack still strong. 0.11 ahead. Offie needs a great end to snipe this one. Will he be able to do it? He doesn't really gain in that drift. Less speed, so Pack has to crash if he wants to win. But Pack looks solid. Pack will take this one. 25 points there for Pack. But what a great race by all the top players here. Amazing to watch there. Only 0.22 at the finish line between Pack and Offie. And Carl Jr. very close as well. Only that one mistake in the final drift. We see Bren get 4th, Kappa 5th, Gwen, Spam, and Scrappy with an important 15 points there, Scrappy, so that he has something to work with as we now go into the multiplier round. The first endurance part of the step is over, and if you've never watched Trackmania Grand League before, it's about to get spicy. It's about to get very spicy on the track Vertigo. Let's have a look at this one. This is the final track, the new track added this week. The players have had 7 days to practice this as best as they can, and now they will play it in the match. It starts out pretty soothingly, but then you have this pipe section where if you are just a little bit off, you will fall off and lose many seconds. So it is vitally important to stay on the pipe. Now, to make this a bit more exciting, they are playing 2 laps. This is no longer a 6-lap format. Here, they play 2 laps, and only 1 player wins. If you get 2nd place here, you get nothing. The winning player multiplies their points. So let's take the case of Offie. Offie leads right now with 76 points. If Offie wins the next round, he gets up to 144 points, and he is done with the step. Let's take the case of Grenati. Grenati has 50 points. If Grenati wins, he goes up to 100. You get the idea. But there are 8 rounds played with multipliers. And if you win some of the last rounds, the last 4 rounds, you could multiply even further. If we take the case of Grenati, because I'm apparently calling out the wrong maths here, let's use easy numbers. Grenati has 50 points. If he wins the 5th round, he could get 3 times multiplier, 150. If he wins the 7th round for a 4 times multiplier, 200. And the 8th and final round gives you 5 times your points. You could go out of a step with 5 times your points if you win the final round. But if you don't win in the 8th round, you get nothing. So 8 players will get multiplying their points, and the other 8 players get absolutely nothing. So they are going to risk like there is no tomorrow, because you have to win 1 round against the other 16 best players in the world. And Scrappy with a new line on the dirt. Interesting stuff there from Scrappy. He skips the penalty sand and jumps up into first. The others don't know this line. He was the only player to go for that, and it will gain him a 10th, or let's say 2 tenths, because it's 2 laps. The world record that we know of is a 2:05 by Mutta. Mutta with the world record right now, but they're gonna risk here. There might be mistakes. Offie into the pole. Massa and Mutta fall off, and there's Binks in the lead right now after the first few poles. Grenati, though, with a lot of speed, will go up into 2nd place as we're getting to the final section of the lap here. up this pole. Will anyone fall off? They all stay. And then the last part here. Here it's very difficult to stay on, but you want to push for speed. And it looks like Papu actually holds the lead, but let's see the Scrappy line. Close up now, because he could use this right here to gain an advantage. Only goes for it in the first lap, apparently. Faster to do this in the second lap. So that's something that he's found that nobody else has. That saved him a little bit, but Papu right now, 63 points. He did not get a multiplier last time. Could be huge if he manages to get one now. It is Binks in first. But Binks makes a mistake and Papu is on the victory march. Jumps into the pipe. He's going full on out, full risk, but it pays off. Look at the lead he's made himself against the other players. One section to go for Papu here to close out a great step that started with almost a world record on the first map. Now just one more pipe and it will be his. Scrappy's trying with a lot of speed though, and Scrappy with a good endline will try, but he falls off, and it will be Papu winning with a 2:06.22. Almost for Scrappy, but he loses grip in the final part of the pipe. And Papu wins with a time just 1 second behind the world record. Papu doubles, he goes up to 126, and he's currently leading the step. But it's not over yet. Because someone will walk out of the step with 5 times their points. And if that is someone like Uffy, they are going to rocket up the scoreboard. So that is something to wait for this round. Also a 2 times multiplier round. And in the Challenger League, we saw Otak chose to not win rounds where he was leading because he wanted a better multiplier. We're not seeing anyone do that here yet, and I don't think they will because the level is just that high that the chance of winning a round here is crazy. They're going so risky across the pipes. It almost looks like it's reckless driving, and it absolutely is. But out of the first few pipes, we have Binks, Worker, Brad, and Kappa surviving in the top 4. Oh god, there goes Binks, I think. No, sorry, there goes Scrappy off. Never mind. Binks still in first. Ahead of Gwen with a 1:04.02, a new fastest lap time. And it looks to be Binks versus Gwen right now. The others are pretty far behind. Binks still really clean, but Gwen is like laying in the way here. 0.3 behind only. Possible to make something happen, especially on the pipes, or Binks could just make a mistake and let Gwen have the lead onto the pipes, but Gwen too low. Gravity takes him down, and it will be Granati versus Kappa. This one has flipped more times than pancakes in the frying pan. Kappa versus Granati now. Granati off. It's actually Kappa in the lead. I don't think he believes it, and he almost falls. Will he get sniped here by Bren in the end? He tries for the flip, but Bren will win it with a 2:07.2. And that is a surprising result, but Bren, huge multiplier here. 75 points on his 75, 150, leading the step right now. Wow, okay, I think we gotta be careful to call the rounds. If I say it's between Gwen and Binks, and then it's between Granati and Kappa, and then it's between Kappa and Bren, and then Bren wins, I think we gotta hold our judgment until the finish line, because this is a map where anything can happen. Musa with the early DNF, Granati with a mistake already. They are out of the fight here, or so we would think, you know? We never know. But Scrappy in the lead here in the third round. Oh, there was a huge faceplant by Worker. First turn, Gwen goes off. Someone went off on the outside. Binks, Tween, and Uffy. First time we see Tween up here with a chance at winning. Has to get past Binks though. Binks made a mistake last time. Will he do so again? I don't think so. I think this time you're gonna have to get him on pace. Looked very consistent here, tween. Bit too much on the side. Straight into the wall. Now we see Uffy on the chase. Bren has already multiplied the second biggest point scorer. Could Uffy get the 2x now and take the lead in the step temporarily? Things could still happen, but we saw a mistake from Binks right here in the previous lap. This time he corrects his line, makes sure to stay on the platform, and is looking poised to win right now. Stays on upper gear. Very solid. Does he get on the outside of the tree there for more speed? Will get that nicely. Still in the lead with just 2 turns to go. And Uffy is the only one close to deny him, but Uffy loses contact with the ground, and Binks, this one is all yours. Just gotta stay on and get into the finish line. Binks will... Whoa! Okay! Binks almost throwing it, but he still wins. I don't know what he was trying to do here, but a 208 and a double point score, 82 points total. Whether he actually wanted to lose there or just throw a little shade, I'm not sure, but GG for Binks. Only 0.2. Interesting stuff there. Binks is out of there. 3 out of 3 French players right now have multiplied. But Gwen goes into the wall. Will not make it forward. Scrappy into the wall as well. So we lose a couple of players early on into the round here. But so far, a great final stage for the French players. And of course, Arel, who we saw running away with the 5-time multiplier last week, has not had the strongest of steps, but he doesn't really need to. Could still be in contention here, and he is right now. Massa and Grenadi top 2, but Arel will come in at 3rd. Right next to Grenadi. Before we go up this turn, important to be on the inside, but not too much speed or else you will fly. Arel goes off. And it is now the 2 Germans in first, but make that 1 as Grenadi misses the approach up the pipe. And Massa has a huge lead. It's 0.7. It's almost a second. And it will be a second now as Carl releases. Massa has this in his hands. Could multiply to 64 if he wants it. Just gotta make sure to keep on the pipes here. And hopefully have a stable enough connection to get to the finish line. We see some small jitters, but looks to be under control here for Massa. Carl Jr. only playing weight at this point. No one behind him, only Massa ahead. If something happens, he'll gladly take the 2-time multiplier and get out of this one. Still no mistake from Massa. Carl with the respawn. Looks to be Massa here. If he wants it, it's his right now to take. 2 times multiplier, 64 points. Oh, he takes it. Okay. I was about to say, is he gonna BM this one? But he takes it just ahead of Spam. Half a second there. We never know if they're gonna stop or not, but they're making it really close. Really, really close there. And Massa closes out in 64 points. Now it gets tense. We have 4 spots left that you can win, and 12 players. 8 will walk home empty-handed, and 4 will walk home with their pockets full of points because the multipliers are getting bigger. We got 3 times multiplier for this round for the winner. If you win now, you could triple your score. So it only gets more and more important. Some players have maybe intentionally waited for this moment to try to win now. But some are going immediately into the pole. We see 1 flying off, and they'll just have to wait for another opportunity. Grenadian Worker chasing Uffy for first place right now. Huge scoreline for both Offie and Grenadi. They did really well in step 1, got 2nd and 3rd. Both could really use this 3-time multiplier to stay on top of the rankings. We see 1:04.06 per Grenadi, a very fast opener lap here. Cross the sand into the dirt. Will hold that lead for now. But it is the two players with really big scorelines here fighting for it. Slight variation there from Grenadi to get a wider setup before the wall ride. More speed as a result. Can snowball a little bit across the straight here, but he clips a little bit. And Offie gets right back on his back wheels now. Low line from Offie, has to adjust, stays on though. And this is such a close fight. Offie with the inside line will have less speed than Grenadi, but he hits the tree. And he loses that position now. Worker has lost time as well. It's actually all in Grenadi's hands to get 150 points in step 2. If he hits this last pipe very fast, but he holds. GG to Grenadi. The rookie in the season will get another great scoreline here with 150 points out of this. Tying Brandon this step right now for the lead. Really showing that he's earned the spot, I think. A lot of people had questions about Grenadi going into the season. Does he deserve the spot? I think after step 1, people were like, okay, that's pretty good, but if you do it twice in a row, you really prove yourself here. So, amazing start to the season for Grenadi here. Another 3-time multiplier on the board to be fought for. And Carl Jr. and Pack have not gotten their multiplier yet. Some of the players that have traditionally been the best performing in Grand League. Carl Jr. has won it 3 times. Pack has been close to beating him on several occasions, but never quite got there. But now it is Mutta, the current world record holder, in first place. Mutta has a personal best here of 2:05.16, which is almost a second faster than Grenadi's winning time. And if he can pull something like that out right now, in the moment of need, he could secure himself a lot of points. Good start here. The others are far away. Huge chance for the Australian player. Keep in mind that Mutta here, he's playing at 3 a.m. over in Australia. It's a late day at work, but he can go to sleep very happy here if he walks away with the multiplier. Just needs to hold this 1 lap of Vertigo and try to not fall off the pipes. It's all been gifted to him with the others failing, and he's given it to himself here by driving really fast. Almost the upper gear. Does not get it. Carl Jr. is getting closer on the splits here. And let's not call anything too soon here, because Carl Jr. is coming up like a shark with the attack against Mutta here. Let's see who wins it. Mutta versus Carl Jr. The final pipe. Mutta going inside line, trying to hold. Carl Jr. getting very close. Early landing, but Mutta, by 0.04 of a second, will get that multiplier. Very close fight there. Carl Jr. making it so tense in the end. But Mutta gets the points. He will jump up to 81 points in 5th there. And a very respectable step altogether. 2 spots left to fight for. Offie still hasn't closed it out with 76 points. Pack still with 66. And Carl still with 62. One of those 3 players will walk away empty-handed. They cannot all win. Perhaps none of them win. That's how volatile this format can be. You have to win when it matters most. And if you could quadruple your points, it is a very important round. Well, let's see who steps up now and makes the most of it when it matters. Last week, Carl Jr. got a 2x. And then he said, you know, he feels this format is a bit luck-based, where you can't really decide when to win, but he finds himself in a position where he can try to clutch and win on the decisive round. against the world elite here. Tween in lead. Up the pipe they go. And at the end of it is Offie and Scrappy side by side. Low 104 in the splits, which has been the pace all match long. Offie with a great chance to quadruple 76 points. It could almost get him past Aurel in the overall standings. If Offie quadruples here, he's going to be very close. Could almost overtake the lead in the Grand League. If he can fend off Scrappy in the final lap here. Scrappy really pushing it here. Nothing to lose. 23 points. Everything to gain if he can win. But Offie is actually extending here. Offie has more speed. Before the final pipe, will it be Offie's day today? 76 and a 4-time multiplier will be huge. Scrappy is close. He's getting closer. He goes for the line, but he flies off, and Offie, he's been given it on a silver platter. Offie will win 4 times the score of his regular step. And that will surely put a smile on his face here. This is going to be a massive 300-point scoreline. Just about 304 for Offie. And now the final round. 9 players, 1 multiplier left. Who will get the big jackpot this time? Last week it was Aurel. When everyone else failed, he remained calm and won that round. I think Gwen looking for this one for sure. Not sure if he's been holding off, but we have not seen much of him. And we do see him now in first, but this turn will be very crucial to nail. Tween goes off, Gwen goes off. They are out of the fight. No multiplier this week. As it is a 5-6 driver battle. Before the end of the lap, Peter. Will anyone push? Oh, Pack flies off. No multiplier for Pack either. Going home empty-handed out of the final part. Kappa goes sideways. And it will not be his day either. And Aurel, with a lot of speed here, will actually jump up into first like he did 1 week ago to try to get this 5 times. Surely not for the 2nd time in a row. Scrappy and Spam are there to fight for it. Scrappy with the lead. Best speed into the full speed part from him. And it looks just to be between these 4. Scrappy, Spam, Aurel, and Carl Jr. are the ones who have a chance at this. The others are just too far. Carl going hard now. Full speed across. Releasing a little bit. Going low. 2 players go off. 3 players fail, actually. Scrappy's the only one remaining. And it will be Scrappy's day here, I think, as it is a massacre on the middle of Vertigo. Scrappy has such a big lead that he can afford to drive backwards up the final pipe. Just about. And he will take this excruciatingly safe before clocking in 5 times his points here. He had a rough first step, but this will salvage a lot of it. Over 100 points for Scrappy despite a rough start. That is something he can be happy about. GG's. Let's take note now of the final standings. We had Offie 304 points, Grenadi 150. And then we had Bren as well, 150, top 3. Grenadi, did I say 150? Yeah, I think 150. But look at this. Offie has overtaken the lead. Despite Aurel's amazing first step, Offie now with 2 really strong steps leads by 9 points. Grenadi there, 366. Really great start to the season. Mara can be happy with the multiplier. Bren got a huge day today. Papu, Carl Jr., and Binks to round out the top 8.